Okay, right, ladies and gentlemen, can I start? My name is Seamus Oates. I'm Chief Executive of the TBAP Multi-Academy Trust. A couple of things on housekeeping before we start the conference. There are no fire alarms scheduled, so if the fire alarm goes off, and I have to warn you, they have been playing around with the fire alarms this morning, so it might go off. We probably do need to treat it as an alarm, and the assembly point is through those doors at the back if you're in this hall, through the doors at the back if you're in the other hall, and into the kind of the Muga area, the sports area at the back. Toilets, there are two sets of toilets down this corridor. The ones on this side of the corridor are the staff ones, and are far more preferable than the ones down the end, which are the student ones, but do feel free to use any ones you wish to use. Sarah is the head of our TSA and has put together today's conference. And Sarah and her team of business support professionals and ICT professionals were in here yesterday on the hottest day of the year setting up. So and we'll say lots of thanks to her at the end, but I'm just going to get in now and say a really big thank you to Sarah for organising this conference. It's fantastic what they've put together. I'm sure you'll all agree. So those are the main bits of housekeeping. We are following it on Twitter. So if you do use Twitter, if you use the hashtag TBAPConf, C-O-N-F, that should be following. I've sent it out to everybody around the country, so they'll all be looking on that as well. So do be aware that that's being streamed on Twitter, and then the keynotes are being recorded and will be live on the YouTube channel this afternoon. So the TBAP conference. This is our second conference that we've had. I know some of you were here last year, and for us it was a real privilege to have so many professionals coming to join us last year. And we had people from around the country last year, from Warrington, and today we've got people from Everton, and I was just looking to see who's come the furthest, and in fact we've got a representative from Australia, so he's come to join our, not just for our conference, but we like to think he might have done, so welcome Carl, who's come over from Pivotal, Australia, so brilliant. We've got head teachers and leaders from pupil referral units, alternative provision academies, we've got people from the DFE, we've got people from local authorities, we've got a whole group of people here who are absolute experts at working with the learners that we work with. And I always say, and believe even more so recently, that this is probably the most important job in education, and this cohort of learners, if we get it right, are probably the most important group to be working with. We know what difference we can make to their lives when we get them re-engaged. We know what difference accreditation can make to their lives. And perhaps more importantly, we know what difference we make when we engage them in a positive relationship and they start to trust adults and trust the system again. And I think the work that we all do is a testament to that. And when I say it's the most important job in education, I also think it's the most difficult job in education because it's a relentless job. Some of you may know that I've been back on the floor of the bridge as head of school for the last 4 weeks. And it's something I hadn't done probably for, I don't know, 8 years or something like that. And oh my God, I had a little thing that measures how far I walk. And I have a target of 10,000 steps. First day in, 25,000 steps cleared, no trouble, by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the job that you do as a leader in alternative provision. It's not about sitting down with your systems and your computers and all the rest of it. It's about being out there, supporting these children, supporting the teachers and the support staff that we work with. Really, really important. Again and again and again, we get the message back to us from our learners. One of our learners came in last week, who was with us about 5 years ago, absolutely, really, really proud of what he'd achieved. He'd gone on to become an electrician, gone to college, become an electrician, and couldn't wait to share his story with all of us and with all the learners who are here at the moment. He did what all of the learners do when they come back, looked at the current group and said, oh my God, they're terrible, we were never as bad as that. Well, actually, you were far worse than that, but they choose to forget it. So that's a story we hear, and we all get that, don't we, on a daily basis. Learners coming back, their families coming back, telling us the difference that we've made. Another learner I've got who's gone on to be really successful in her profession, and she's come back now onto our board, the Multi-Academy Trust board, and again, that's making a real difference to some of the things that we do and some of the decisions that we make. We've got two themes really around today. One is around life after levels and where we go in assessment. And the other is probably looking a little bit more deeply into some of the amazing work that we all do in alternative provision and sharing it. And again, I looked at the data. Data tells a story, doesn't it? 1.9% 5 or more A to Cs in alternative provision. It's a shocking figure, as we all know, but we have probably, definitely, more outstanding provisions in alternative provision than in mainstream. So how does that work? How can we have more outstanding provisions, as judged by Ofsted, compared to a very low figure of 5 or more A to Cs? Now, we all know the reason for that, don't we? But it's a story we have to keep on telling to our stakeholders and people outside. And the reason why we have more outstanding provision is because of the amazing work we do and the amazing progress we demonstrate in all sorts of other things. So even accreditation, we're up there in 90, 95 to 100% accreditation. Improvement in attendance from mainstream is up there. Reintegration is up there. The differences we make to the social and emotional feelings of these children is up there. And as a sector, we're all working quite hard at the moment to prove that and to show that we have ways of demonstrating it. And I think we're going to share some of the TBAP models today, and I know that people are coming in with other models to share on that. And that's really important if we start to really demonstrate clearly and get the national agenda around reporting on our success, not about the 5 or more A to Cs, but more about the other measures that we use and we make a difference to with our young people. That's important. The white paper that came out recently is important too. So we've already had a couple of U-turns, which are always good news. But what's great about that white paper is that we were in it, because usually we're not even in it. So we just get on and do our own thing in alternative provision. But this time we had a whole paragraph or two dedicated to ourselves right at the end. It's great that we are there, and the tone of what's in there is all about improving outcomes for our learners. It's about holding schools accountable for the work that we do. It's about ensuring that we are able to deliver a broad, balanced and exciting curriculum for our learners. So that can only be good news. And the thing that really excited me the most was the recognition of how important it is for us to work in partnership and collaboratively. And we've got much, much better at that in this sector over the last few years. And today's conference is a real testament to the fact that we are, as a sector, working together in a really strong manner and in a really collaborative way. Our Multi-Academy Trust, the TBAP Multi-Academy Trust, has grown every year. We add more circles. Now we've got more and more circles. That's a summary of it up there. I talked about it last year. I'm not going to talk too much about it now. But just to say, by growing as a group, it's giving us capacity to do more things and to do things like this. And we are very, very supportive of helping others who are interested in setting up multi-academy trusts and growing as a system. For us, it's made a massive difference. For our learners, it's made a massive difference, and that's the only reason we do these things. And it's enabled us to do all sorts of things. In 12 months, over 12 months, we've opened a residential school. We've got a post-16 academic academy opening. We've got leaders being grown from within. We're developing a therapeutic service across the organisation, and we can do all of that because we are a multi-academy trust, so it works well. I noticed on Twitter someone said, oh, that's great, look at this trust, they've grabbed all the land, all the buildings to make a profit. I can't be bothered to reply to it because we don't, as you know, there's no profit. Everything goes back into our schools. There are no shareholders, there's nobody sitting in behind trying to move this. It's like Paul and Pivotal Education do it all for free, you know, so that's what happens in a real multi-academy trust. It's not about generating profits. You can't, in fact, it's illegal to do that. But just interesting to see that's the way that some people go with it. So, I'm going to sort of finish up now, but just really hope everybody has a great day. The best bits of conferences happen in the corridors, in the coffee breaks. Somebody said to me that they'd come back from their holidays early to come today because they had such an invigorating, inspiring time last year. So I know that today is going to live up to that, having looked around at the workshops that we've got and the exciting keynotes that we've got. A couple of things that I've sort of heard recently. One is Anthony Selden, who was the head of what was it? What's the college called? What's it called again? Wellington, that's it. Wellington College. Talking about how much he loved being a leader, a head teacher. Most people in here, everybody in here is a leader. And he talked about being almost like the magician at the center of a circus ring, and that's kind of what it is, being a leader, and I thought that was interesting. Eleanor Roosevelt talked about learning from the mistakes of others, because nobody can live long enough to make all the mistakes that others have made. So again, something to think about as we're going through, because we all make mistakes, but by being brave and by taking risks, we can learn from those things and grow organisations that make a massive difference for our learners. So, going to introduce our first keynote. Before I do that, Sarah, have I forgotten anything? No? Okay. So, I will introduce Suzanne Farrell, who's joining us from Askell. Suzanne is a very experienced head teacher, has spoken extensively, probably internationally, I would imagine, or nationally. Yeah, on assessment, and is going to talk to us about her thinking around life after levels and all sorts of other things. We're going to be following up with Carleen Furman, who's going to talk to us about how we measure some of the non-academic aspects of the work that we do. But I'm going to hand over to Suzanne now, and can you give her a very big welcome? Thank you.